Hello, everyone. Today we are here to talk about the recent developments that are happening around the eligibility criteria to apply for judicial services examination. Recently, we have seen that recruitment process initiated by Gujarat High Court has been stayed by the Honorable Supreme Court. And why it has happened? Because the court is seized of the matter concerning the requirement of minimum practice years to be eligible for a judicial officer, for becoming a judicial officer. But this session is not only about the legal developments, but also about what we as aspirants can do about it. So we have seen that the entire story starts from 1989. Initially there was a requirement of certain years of practice in order to be eligible for judicial services examination. Then the same was done away with in the year 2002 by an order of the Supreme Court, and it was based upon Shetty Commission's report. And now the matter is again before the Supreme Court, and there are a number of reasons for the same, including the relationship between bar and bench, the lack of experience that young judges come with, and which only adds to the issue of pendency, etc. And there are other reasons which the Supreme Court will definitely going to consider while passing the final order in this regard. So, what has happened recently? We have seen that Gujarat High Court recruitment has been stayed, and now similar thing we are seeing in the context of Chhattisgarh vacancy. Yesterday, there was an order from the Honorable High Court of Chhattisgarh taking note of the fact that recently Supreme Court has stayed Gujarat High Court recruitment, and the next date in the matter before the Supreme Court is 18th March. So the hearing in the matter, which was a similar matter before the Chhattisgarh High Court, it has been postponed to another date. So definitely these things will going to impact the overall situation in every state when it comes to vacancies and their eligibility. But what we can do as aspirants right now, and what if the changes actually they do happen. So first thing as an aspirant that you should be doing is not to stop preparing for examinations. You have to continue with the process, because every single day wasted will be a step away from your ultimate objective. Every day wasted should be seen as if you are moving one step away from your ultimate goal in the opposite direction. So, despite everything that is happening, despite a lot of hue and cry, you must focus on your studies. Second thing that you must do is develop a positive mindset beforehand. What if the changes they do occur, and just by looking at the way things are proceeding, it is believed by a large section of people from the legal field that the requirement of minimum years of practice is going to be there. But things will be finalized um, on or after 18th March. The next hearing in the matter is 18th March, right? So before that happens, in the meanwhile, we must work on developing a positive attitude and embrace the changes if they really occur. And I'll give you some points which will help you in the process. First is that if this requirement is made mandatory, what shape it will take, that only time will tell. Whether it will be on the lines of Madhya Pradesh judiciary, whether it will be in the lines of Telangana judiciary, or they will take into consideration the eligibility factors for higher judicial services and prescribe somewhat similar conditions, that only time will tell. We can only speculate, but what shape these conditions will take, This we should right now not be focusing on that. Then coming back to the first point, you should embrace these changes if they really happen. See, if this requirement is made mandatory, then it can be beneficial for judiciary aspirants in the sense that every judiciary aspirant will have some amount of experience of the courts. And this experience can be utilized not only during the various stages of the examinations, but also when you finally get selected to make a meaningful contribution to the institution. So that level of frustration will come down if there were any chances of the same. Secondly, the courtroom experience will expose you to practical applications of the law, which will ultimately help you in appreciating most difficult areas of law when you read them from the bare acts or from various books. Thirdly, having such a mandatory requirement can be useful in the sense that earlier what used to happen, the a particular candidate who, let's say, is preparing for 4 to 5 years and still not getting anywhere in terms of selection, then it becomes a vicious cycle for him or her, and it becomes very difficult to move out of that process because then the person feels that there are no options available to him or her. But when you continue with the practice and simultaneously prepare for these examination, that transition, the career objectives, the change in career objectives, that will be very, very smooth. Another factor which is on the positive side is that the way or the path towards the higher judicial services, in case you do not make it in as a civil judge, junior division, or judicial magistrate of first class, then the path to the higher judicial services, it becomes easy, because higher judicial services, the conditions are very tough to meet. And when you start right away, then things will definitely become easy for you. So first thing that you should do is not to stop preparing for the exams. Second, you should develop a positive mindset towards the changes and embrace those changes. And once we get a clear directions from the Supreme Court, then we should plan things accordingly rather than developing a negative mindset towards it, right? Because what will be in life if there are no challenges? And when you face these kinds of challenges in your life, ultimately you're preparing yourself for the ultimate post that you're aiming for, because a judicial officer is supposed to tackle the practical challenges day in and day out, right? So your reaction to these changes will tell whether you have the character of a judicial officer or not. The next thing that you should do, if you want to do it, it is not mandatory, but if you still wish to, uh, if you're that sort of person that you want to plan things beforehand in great details, then you should you what you should do meanwhile the final directions they come, you should examine the notifications from various states which already have the experience as a criteria. You should go through MP judiciary notification. You should go through Telangana judiciary notification. You can plan in a better way as to what requirement can be expected, how to solve that problem. You should also look at some of the notifications from higher judicial services. If you do this, then you can have a long-term planning for the same. You can plan your next 4 years, 5 years in a way which will not compromise your preparation for civil judge junior division exams, or at the same time keeping the option of the practice open, at the same time keeping the option of higher judicial services open, right? And let's hope this issue gets resolved as soon as possible. It is something that touches not only the lives of the candidates, but also the overall functioning of the institution. So it will be better for everybody. It will be in everybody's interest if the things get resolved timely. And let's hope that on 18th of March, the next date of hearing, we get something concrete. And when we will get that, we will again meet and plan things out as to how to go about it. What should be the next steps? Till then, have patience, keep on preparing, and don't be over stressed about these developments. Together, we'll figure something out. Don't worry. Take care. Goodbye.